Hello, my name is Tom, and today I'm going to show you how to garden in an apocalypse. Right here you can see we have a grow tent enclosure, and inside we have 1, 2, 3 zucchini calabaza plants, a sage grass plant, I probably butchered that name, not sage, and basil and parsley over there. Now, in order for this to work, which seems complicated, it's really not. Over there in the corner we have a temperature controller, an Inkbird, a Wi-Fi temperature controller. You don't really need the Wi-Fi part, but it makes life a lot easier because you can just adjust it with your phone. It controls both the heating and cooling, which is useful because you can have the heater right there, that little black plastic thing in the back, connected to the heat part, and the cooling part connected to that white extension cable, which comes out here and attaches to an air conditioner. On this, it's connected to that duct, sort of, right there. Essentially, the intake is kind of hanging off the air conditioner in a way where, unless the air conditioner's on, it's probably going to pull most of the air from the room. But if the air conditioner turns on like it is now, it's just a basic standard manually controlled air conditioner on high cooling. It's just going to, as soon as it turns on, the intake duct fan, the inline duct fan, is going to pull air through that tube into there with this fan right here. Now, in order to get this working, the supplies you're going to need are a grow tent. It'll fit in whatever place you want to put it. 2 duct fans. This one was $25 and it was a mistake. That one was 400 CFMs and it's a bit expensive. You can get 200 CFM fans for about $50. And you couple that with the temperature controller there. Have the fans run consistently while attaching the heat and the air conditioner to that temperature controller. You just plug them right on in. And the LEDs there, I have 3, but you can probably get away with 1 or 2. I've attached 2 Zigbee wireless switches and controlled by a smart home system to basically automatically turn on and off at certain times to emulate, real sunlight and stuff. Now, the temperature in here is set to maintain about 75 degrees. And if it goes 2 degrees above it, that temperature controller will automatically turn on this air conditioner. Now, if it goes 4 degrees below it, now all these parameters you can set yourself. That heater turns on. It basically never turns on because it's a bit warm out. So basically, due to the fact that I'm using LEDs, I don't have to use too much ventilation. I can get away with just these 2 duct fans and this air conditioner for when it overheats a bit. And that right there, that rotating fan, is to help pollinate the plants when they eventually need to be pollinated. Like $25. I guess you don't really need that. You can pollinate them manually, depending on the plants as well. Yeah. So not that hard to do. Let me see here. I'll open it up and give you a better view. Alrighty. Now, right here you see we got the basil, parsley, the calabaza, zucchini, sage grass, and there's the heater, you see, connected to the heating port, and the coolers, the air conditioners. The extension cord here connected to the air conditioner is in the cooling port. Now to set this, you don't even need to use Wi-Fi if you don't want to. You can, you don't have to. You hold the set button until you're able to change the set value, the temperature set value, the value which this basically tries to maintain. And then from there you could also set the heating differential and cooling differential, which is just going to be how many degrees off of that is going to mean that this turns something on. So basically, now that I have this plugged in and the temperature differential for cooling is set to 2 degrees, as soon as this goes 2 degrees, this enclosure, based on this sensor here, goes 2 degrees above 75 degrees, it automatically turns on this extension cord, which in turn turns on that air conditioner over there. Now, it's not that hard to set up. It's relatively cheap, all things considered, because you can grow anything in this, any kind of food, or whatever. So it's pretty useful, and yeah, it's not that hard to set up, and can be controlled remotely. Now, a couple other things you could try doing if you want is adding moisture sensors, so you know when to water it. These here. Now, you just put them wherever, in a way where they're in the soil, and it'll tell you when you gotta water them, basically. These are EcoWit moisture sensors. They're like 15 bucks each, and there's a base you need to buy that allows you to use it via the internet. Now, if you set it up with a custom driver on a Hubitat unit, you could also integrate it into a smart home system, but you don't have to. Not at all necessary. See, pop them right in there, and when it reaches like 24%, 23%, that's when you really should have a pretty good idea that it's about time to water it, or time to check the water. You put multiple sensors in these at different heights. You should probably check the soil moisture at different depths, and if you had a smart home system, you could use those to change it when it automatically waters. If you had, say, just a water pump, and had that connected to the Zigbee outlet, you could have it automatically turn that on if it was too dry, basically. Anyway, that's how you do it. Here's the sensor for the gateway, which also conveniently gives you another temperature. Here's the sensor for the Inkbird temperature controller, and there's the heater. It's like 25 bucks on Amazon. Anything that's got a switch, an actual on and off switch, manual switch, will work, because then you could just turn it on and it turns on, as opposed to having to like digitally set some kind of temperature control or something. Also, if you have issues with it tipping over and turning it off, there's usually a switch on the bottom you can tape, but I wouldn't recommend it, as if it turns on and doesn't turn off, it can be a problem. Anyway, this is the setup. Anyone who needs issues setting them up, give me a holler.